Um, all right. So I'm not really sure um how Mahmoud managed to get this out of the ICE detention facility and into the WAPO, but he did. Um, so Washington Post published this opinion piece by Mahmoud Khalil. What does my detention by ICE say about America? A democracy for some is no democracy at all. Mahmoud Khalil is a recent Palestinian graduate of Columbia University that was abducted by ICE, if you don't know. It's 3 a.m. as I lie sleepless in my bunk bed in Gina, Louisiana, far from my wife, Noor, who will give birth to our baby in 2 weeks. The sound of the rain hitting the metal roof masks the snoring of 70 men tossing and turning on hard mats in this detention facility run by Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Which ones are dreaming about reuniting with their families? Which ones are having nightmares about becoming the Trump administration's next administrative error? Last Friday, I sat in a courtroom as an immigration judge determined that the government could deport me, despite my status as a legal permanent resident, and despite the government's claims against me were baseless. Much of its evidence lifted directly from sensationalized tabloids. The decision won't result in immediate deportation. Aspects of my case are pending in other courts. Earlier that day, I sifted through letters from supporters. 2 postage stamps displayed the American flag, one stating liberty forever, the other proclaiming justice forever. The irony is stunning, especially regarding what I've learned about how the administration exploits immigration law to enforce its repressive agenda. I think about the breakneck speed with which my case was heard and decided, running roughshod over due process. On the flip side, I think about those I am locked up with, many of whom have been languishing for months or years waiting for their due process, quote unquote. During Friday's hearing, the government asserted on behalf of Secretary of State Marco Rubio that my beliefs, statements, and associations compromise its, quote, compelling, unquote, foreign policy interests. Like the thousands of students that I advocated with at Columbia, including Muslim, Jewish, and Christian friends, I believe in the innate equality of all human beings. I believe in human dignity. I believe in the right of my people to look at the blue sky and not fear an impending missile. Why should protesting Israel's indiscriminate killing of thousands of innocent Palestinians result in the erosion of my constitutional rights? My lawyers have mentioned that a case called Endo might bear on my own. Days later, in my research at a law library, I uncovered the human story behind the legal abstraction. Mitsuyo Endo, a Japanese American woman incarcerated during World War II, challenged her captors and brought her case to the Supreme Court. Her victory helped secure the release of thousands of others. The incarceration of 70,000 American citizens of Japanese descent is a reminder that rhetoric of justice and freedom obscures the reality that all too often, America has been a democracy of convenience. Rights are granted to those who align with power. For the poor, for people of color, for those who resist injustice, rights are but words written on water. The right to free speech when it comes to Palestine has always been exceptionally weak. Even so, the crackdown on universities and students reveals just how afraid the White House is of the idea of Palestine's freedom entering the mainstream. Why else would Trump officials not only attempt to deport me, but also intentionally mislead the public about who I am and what I stand for? I pick up my copy of Viktor Frankl's uh, Man's Search for Meaning. I feel ashamed to compare my conditions in ICE detention to Nazi concentration camps, yet some aspects of Frankel's experiences resonate. not knowing what fate awaits me, seeing resignation and defeat in my fellow detainees. Frankel wrote from the lens of a psychologist. I wonder whether Hassam Abu Safia, a renowned hospital director who was abducted in Gaza by Israeli occupying forces on December 27, and according to his lawyer from the Al Mizan Center for Human Rights, has endured beatings, electric shocks, and solitary confinement, will write about his ordeal from a medical perspective. It's almost 4 a.m. Thunder crashes. A few rows away, one man hugs a bottle of hot water in a sock for warmth. His prayer mat serves as a blanket, and his head rests on his own shoes. A detainee who was praying all night finally lays down. He was caught crossing the border with his pregnant wife and has never seen his baby, now 9 months old. I try to convince myself that this will not be my fate, though Friday's ruling makes that possibility more real than I want to admit. It's so sad. I write this letter as the sun rises, hoping that the suspension of my rights will raise alarm bells that yours are already in jeopardy. I hope that it will inspire your outrage, that the most basic human instinct to protest shameless massacre is being repressed by obscure laws, racist propaganda, and a state terrified of an awakened public. I hope this writing will startle you into understanding that a democracy for some, a democracy of convenience, is no democracy at all. I hope it will shake you into acting before it is too late. Yeah. Whew. I didn't expect to get so emotional. God. Fucking free him, dude, because, yeah. If this stands, like, it is fundamentally just throwing out all of our alleged rights. And, again, like, certain people weren't ever afforded them throughout history of America. Like, we've tarnished the rights of various populations, just kind of just thrown them in the trash and pretended like they didn't exist so many times. Like, we are nothing but a series of war crimes. But like this will affect you. This will absolutely affect you. Act before it's too late is very much a resonant part of that. Man.
I heard about this youngin' named Saeed, born under siege. Grew up in that strip, only 76 keys. From the capital, he dreamed of seeing. Never saw no freedom, but was raised to believe in it. The bigger purpose. His
Thanks,
mother
Biffy.
and his father carried all the burden. From being refugee surviving.
It is very serious, and like we're so fucked. Oh God. It's really women lover. Hello, ma'am. You're wrong, ma'am. About what? About what? Mahmoud did nothing wrong. Literally, that's not even a controversial statement. He didn't do anything wrong, and even if he did, I still don't think you should be in ICE.